We want to talk now about weeds in canola fields with Angela Post, our extension weed scientist. And Angela, what kind of weeds are you seeing this time of year?
So we're starting to get our canola up a little bit larger, and we're seeing a lot of weeds emerging as well in that crop. Most of the ones we're concerned about this time of year are going to be the weedy mustards because they're in the same family as canola. The main mustards that we're concerned about in canola right now are bushy wallflower, shepherd's purse, field pepperweed, and wild radish. And we're also concerned with mare's tail, which is not a mustard but also is a rosette that's difficult to tell apart from this group.
You've identified a couple of those. What do we see right here?
So right here we have shepherd's purse. So this one is actually already flowering. Many of the mustard species will not be flowering yet, but we see that has a nice rosette and a lot of cuts in the leaves. This is classic identifying characters for the mustard family. We're going to have a nice rosette all the way through the winter, and then usually these are going to bolt once the days start to get longer in spring. Shepherd's purse is one of the few that can bolt at different times of the year, and you can see it's already started flowering and making its nice little shepherd's purse shaped seed pods. Almost all of the mustards will have either a white or a yellow flower with 4 petals and compete very well with canola, particularly this time of year when the canola plants are still small. We also have wild radish. This one is a little bit larger statured specimen, so we have larger leaves. There are lots of hairs on the leaves, so you might be able to see these little bumps, and each one of those little bumps on the leaf surface has a hair coming out of it. These will get large. They can be as large or larger than canola plants and make a very large rosette that's very competitive with the crop. So we want to take care of those very early. So the others, bushy wallflower also makes a fairly large rosette. It's pretty easy to tell from the other ones because the cuts don't go so deep on the leaf, especially when it's a small rosette. Has more of a linear leaf with like some little bumps along the edges that are kind of scalloped. It also will not be flowering right now. And then we have field pepperweed. This one's going to be a much smaller rosette with really fine divisions on the leaf surface, not many hairs at all, and it makes a really tight rosette. And these are also not flowering right now, but it's a good time to control them in canola. And the final one, which is not a mustard, is mare's tail. This one is problematic in wheat and canola, and it can germinate all through the winter season. So we see germination now, and we'll see germination all the way through March. And these are the ones that you see sticking up out of the tops of the soybean fields this time of year as we're going in to try and harvest soybeans. So it's really a problematic weed in almost all of our cropping systems, but it also makes a small rosette, and we'll see some images of that here.
When you visit with producers, what kind of advice do you give them in terms of managing these weeds?
So for canola, we're unfortunate that we only have a couple of products labeled for broadleaf weed control, and those are going to be glyphosate in our Roundup Ready cropping system, which would encompass about 90% or better of our cropping system here in Oklahoma, and that's going to allow you 22 ounces of Roundup at a particular time, and it's usually going to be applied 2 to 6 leaf canola, but many producers will wait and apply it a little bit later. That is your option for the Roundup Ready system, and then for conventional canola we have a product called Stinger. It's pretty weak on mustard weeds, but it's the only option that they have for broadleaf weed control.
Now, we're standing here in your sort of research area at the agronomy station. Briefly just tell me what you do and how you educate students here hands-on.
So this is also our field laboratory. We bring students out here every single week from the beginning of the semester all the way through freezing temperatures and let them see what's going on out in the field. We use these plots here for teaching herbicide symptomology. We use them for teaching identification, like we're learning here today on Sunup. And we also learn them use them to learn how to troubleshoot grower problems, because many of our students are going on to be tech service representatives, they're going to work at co-ops, they're going to be custom applicators, and they really need that knowledge of how to go out and visit with the grower and understand what their problem is. Many times it's a weed control problem that they are trying to troubleshoot and figure out, what is my weed, how do I control it, and what is the application rate I'm going to put out. And we use our field laboratory to kind of direct those things to the students and get them educated before they leave us.
Okay, terrific. Thank you very much, Angela. We'll see you again soon. And for a link to some of the weed identification that Angela mentioned, just go to sunup.okstate.edu.